Vladimir Putin says Russian security officials have not been, quote, working with Edward Snowden. But those who know the spy game say the temptation may be too strong, the potential intelligence windfall too great.
The Russians are aggressive, and there's no doubt in my mind that they would not let this opportunity pass, ever.
Former CIA operative Robert Baer and other intelligence veterans familiar with the Russians have different takes on how they might approach Snowden. Baer says they'd be blunt, maybe even threaten subtly to imprison him if he doesn't give valuable information. That's not how Oleg Kalugin sees it. Kalugin's a former KGB officer. He supervised a ring of notorious British Cold War operatives who spied for the Soviets.
How would they approach him? What would be their style? Would they flatter him?
Yeah, they would probably say something nice about how nice that Americans understand the value of improving relations and better knowledge of each other.
But also with a keen eye on his potential weaknesses and needs, Kalugin says, possibly offering money or perks. He says they'd start out using a proven interrogation technique.
Ask him questions they know answers to make sure that he knows what he's talking about, that he is not kind of a self-invented, source of information.
Kalugin and other experts say the Russians would want information on NSA operations or about spies America might have been trying to recruit. Then there's the technical side.
A key question, if Edward Snowden has a laptop with him, what will the Russians want from it and how long will it take them to get it? I'm joined by Mark Stout, a former U.S. intelligence officer who spent 13 years in the intelligence community analyzing Russia and Russian intelligence. He's now with the International Spy Museum. Mark, how long would it take them to download everything from his laptop?
It would just be a matter of minutes for them to be able to strip all the data off the hard drive of Snowden's computer if they're able to get to it. And that doesn't actually require Snowden's cooperation. Now, the files on that may be encrypted, but once they've copied that data, they can decrypt it at their leisure for however long that happens to take.
Stout says Snowden may be able to tell the Russians whether the Americans have been able to penetrate Russian computer security systems, maybe with a secret backdoor or a Trojan horse.
But Stout says Snowden can also give them simple information, just telling the Russians that the Americans have extracted data from certain systems. Even if he doesn't know how it was done, Stout says, the Russians, just like the Chinese and the Iranians, can reverse engineer it. Wolf, and the spy game goes on.
Could he resist that kind of questioning, if you will?
Bob Baer does not believe he could. Baer says that, in his mind at least, Edward Snowden is naive, he's in over his head, he's desperate to find safe haven and not to be turned over to the Americans, even though the Russians say they're not going to do that. Baer says if the Russians promise to help him find a place to live, maybe offer him some money, that he'll start listening and that he will not resist them.